All right, welcome back. Today we're going to wrap up our 3D mug project, and today what we're going to do is you're going to need a few items. You obviously need your picture. You're probably going to have your pencil and eraser handy just in case you need to fix anything, and then you're going to want to have colored pencils ready. All right, for the most part this is pretty simple for filling in. We're just going to be kind of coloring it as we go along. A couple things I want you to keep in mind though. When you are coloring, what I would like you to do is try to make it look like the light is coming from one spot versus another spot. So like if the light is coming from the left here, then this side, my colors might be a little bit darker. So maybe I press a little bit harder with my colors to make them look a little bit more solid, a little bit darker, just to kind of give that illusion that this side's getting a little bit more light, this side's getting a little bit more shadow. Also, I will be adding, coloring in a little bit of a shadow on the ground here, just to kind of give it more of that 3D look, because 3D really gets enhanced when you add a little bit of shadow work as well. If you've ever watched the special commentaries and things like that on cartoon videos, how they get like Toy Story and stuff like that, one of their people is, that's their job, is to go and give things shadows to make it look more 3D, more realistic. So that's what we're gonna do. There's nothing really special. I'm just gonna have you watch and pay attention, and at the end I'll kind of point out areas where I did that, where I added some shadow and things like that. So you can kind of, I'll put this on fast forward. You can watch real quick as I do it, and then you'll get some tips and things like that as we go along. All right, so now let's get started. Okay, so now my picture is done. You can see where I've added some shadows. So you can clearly see some shadow here going this way. I've added some shadow in here just because that was part of my picture. Okay. If you have white areas, you'll notice that sometimes I put a little bit of yellow for the bright highlight. You have to be very gentle with it. You don't want to be real hard with it. And the same thing with the purple, as the shadow is done with a purple or blue, usually a purplish color, not black. That's when we're dealing with white objects. Okay? You can see that sometimes I just press harder to make it darker. Sometimes I mixed in a color. So like here I did purple for the whites, and I even went purple over the red to darken up the purple a little bit here. On the mug, I added in regular green to darken up, because regular green's a little bit darker than the yellow green to make the shadow there. So there's just different ways of doing shadow. What I want you to do is you're going to color it in neatly. Do not leave any giant blank areas. Yes, I know people have white tables and they have white walls, but do what I did, where if you have something that's really white, give it a very, very light color instead. That way your picture looks finished and doesn't have big blank spots. Like here, this little part here is okay in white because it's a book, it's a page, it makes sense. But if I had too much of that, it looks unfinished. So you do need to be careful with how much white is left behind. All right, so I'm gonna let you wrap that up and take a picture of it, and I will see you next week.